Hey, my friends, Matt Morris. Welcome to Free Mentoring Monday. Thought I would hop on here for a little bit and answer some questions. Just out of the gym, have been hitting it hard. The last few days, the quarantine in the beginning, I was certain that I was not going to let the quarantine lead to me getting out of shape. But if I'm honest with you guys, I definitely worked out, but not like normal. So before the quarantine, I was typically in the gym 5, sometimes 6 days a week, and I slacked. So even though I've got a pretty good home gym in the garage, I slacked off. So no more slacking off. Been about 4 days in a row, so hitting it hard. As you guys hop on, let me know where you're tuning in from. Give me your city, your state, your country. Let me know you're watching it live or on the replay. And listen, if you're seeing me for the first time on a live, drop me a 1 in the comments. And if you do decide to share this, then just put the word shared in the comments so I can give you a shout out. And of course, if you guys have not subscribed to my newsletter over at mattmorris.com, you can hop over there, put your name and email address in, and you'll get my daily mentoring emails delivered to your inbox every morning. So where do we got? Let's see, Reunion Island, very cool. I still have yet to go. Heard it's an amazing place. So where else? We got Las Vegas, we got London, Phoenix, Gainesville, Florida, Gator Country. There we go. Jonathan, thanks for tuning in. Ocala, Florida, Brazil. All right, Durban, South Africa. Good to see you on, Pam. We got Germany, Russ. Good to see you on. Fort Worth, good to see you, Monty. South Africa, Bronx, New York, all over. So Nepal, very cool. And let's see. Oh, I think those are tags. So listen, let's open this up. Whatever questions you guys have for me, if it's anything network marketing related, leadership related, internet marketing, social media related, we got Mauritius in the house. Canada is here. And Pam, thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. And Stephen Kihonge, good to see you, my friend. Estonia is here. All right, so Uganda in the house. So let me know what I can help you guys out with. And we will kick it off. Who's got the first question? This may be, if we don't have any questions, this may be a first ever. I think the comments may be delayed. So, how can I level up like you? I'm in Tradera. I don't know if Tradera is a company or if that is a city. I see Puerto Rico. So how do you level up? You know, let's talk about that. Hold on 1 second. So how can I level up like you? I'm in Tradera. So, you know, that would be a very, very long answer. I'll just tell you very quickly my story. I struggled for 5 years. I struggled for many more years than I had to. I will tell you 2 of the biggest things that held me back. Number 1 was belief. It was realizing that I was much more capable than I am. And, you know, it's an interesting thing in my journey of entrepreneurship. What I realize every 5 years is that 5 years ago, I was way better than I thought I was. You know, if I look at where I was when I was 21, compared to, you know, at 21, I was $30,000 in debt, living out of my car, had a pretty strong work ethic. I just couldn't quite get over my fear of rejection and many other things. And, you know, I was certainly very, very capable if I were willing to just step up and lead, step up and get out of my comfort zone, step up and not be afraid to take action. And so 1 is just belief. And, you know, when I finally got full-time, when I was 24, 25, and I became a top earner, I still had a lack of confidence. I still didn't understand how powerful I was. And, you know, I started my own network marketing company. And then I looked back at where I was when I was 24 and 25, and I was like, holy cow, I was much better than I thought I was. And then, you know, at 30, 31, 32, if I look back when I was 40, I look back on those times, it's like, wow, why didn't I realize how talented I was? And I know 10 years from now, I'll look back on today and I'll think, man, you were so much more talented than what you were showing up as. And so that is one. And then two, it is just crazy, obsessive, maniacal levels of work. I worked 18 hours a day, 6-7 days a week for pretty much years. And listen, not everyone has to work that hard. But if you want to be number one, if you want to produce millions or tens of millions of dollars in income, you're going to have to work for it. And people are always like, man, how do you have balance? How do you have balance? Well, on your journey to earning millions of dollars, you're probably not going to have a lot of balance. If balance is a goal for you and you want to earn millions of dollars, you probably need to lower your goal or readjust your meaning of balance. And so let me see, I'm using, let me see if I can there we go, perfect. All right, let me see, a favorite book. So my favorite book is Atlas Shrugged. It's 1,000 pages. Very few people that I've ever recommended the book to have actually read it. If you do happen to read it and you go through all 1,000 pages, let me know how you liked it. And it is a fictional book, but in many cases, it is a personal development book. So here's a question. What is your advice in building depth on your team? All of the big money comes from depth. I just had a person hit rank in my organization, and I believe it was my 499th level in depth. And here's what I was told early in my network marketing career is if you have an organization that's 10 levels deep, meaning you sponsored someone who sponsored someone who sponsored someone who sponsored someone 10 levels deep, you'll create an organization that'll pay you forever. Now, I still don't know if that's true, but it's a good goal to shoot for. And so I think 10 levels deep should be an obsessive goal. I mean, just focus on driving depth. And here's the reality. And this is the truth, so I'll just say it. With the people on your team, you want to treat them as if they're going to be with you forever, but in the back of your mind, know that they may not. And so what I'm always looking to do is build relationships in depth. So if someone quits, when they quit, they're going to leave me leadership. And I've had that happen so many freaking times over the last 25 years that I've been doing this. I can't even count the number of times. I mean, it is insane. I remember at one point I was a company years ago, I was the #1 earner in the company and also the #3 earner in the company because a guy in my organization who I thought was an absolute beast, he went out and recruited a bunch of people and then decided he was going to quit. And so I'm like, hey, sell me your position. You're not going to use it. So I gave him $1,000 or something. And then after he left, his team blew up. So I was the #1 and the #3 income earner in the company. And why? Because I built relationships with the people in his organization so that even though he left, I still had leaders stay because we were bonded together. And so, there's what I was taught in Amway was if you want profitability, you go wide. You enroll tons and tons of people, you go wide. If you want stability, you focus on depth. Leader under leader under leader under leader. So when I heard that, I was like, being the obsessive that I am, I said, all right, I'm going to do both. So I enrolled a ton of people and then I drove it super deep. The goal is never to be the top #1 in the world when it comes to personal production. You have to personally produce enough to create the leadership and to create the duplication. So you want a healthy balance of both, because if you're only driving depth, you're not showing your All right, and we're back. I just got on my hotspot on my phone. Hopefully you guys are still with me. Let me know if you are. Wayne, thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. Monty, thank you for your question. Let me scroll down here. Let me know if you guys are still with me. Type something in the comments and let me know. I know we lost everyone for a little bit, and hopefully we are back. At least my internet is live, and it appears that we're live. Monty, you're still here. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. All right, let me go through and look at some questions here. All right, here's a question. What do you suggest for someone who's working with a huge group of people when many aren't trying to step up and the majority is falling on you? Delisea, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that, my friend, is going to kind of always be the case. We have of how many people take action. And it would depend on what you mean a huge group. Like I have an organization of hundreds of thousands of people. So in my mind, that's a huge group. And most of those are not doing anything. So the way the numbers kind of work out is you have about 40% of the people who do absolutely nothing at all, never will. You have about 40% of the people who show up, kind of. They might enroll someone, they might not enroll someone, they may come to a training, they may not come to a training, and you have a very small percent of people who are actually building. And then you have an even smaller number of people who are actually building big. These are what I would consider to be a solid leader. So you have, those are just kind of the numbers. And so many aren't trying to step up and the majority is falling on you. And that's just kind of how it is in the beginning. I'm not sure how large of an organization you're talking about, but it's always going to be a small percentage. And the focus is two things. Number one is finding the eagles. One thing I've said a ton of times over the years, our job as leaders is to sort through the chickens to find the eagles. There are way more chickens than there are eagles. You're not calling people on your team chickens. That's just the reality of it. And that's cool. They pay for their products. They come to trainings here and there. We love on them. We appreciate them. We could not survive if it weren't for them, but we're focused on finding the leaders and identifying the leaders and creating leaders. How do you create leaders? It's largely increasing belief. If your company has an event system, I would be pushing people very, very hard. I would get very good at event promotion. Okay, getting people to events, because what it takes to build big in network marketing is a big decision, and big decisions are made at big events. And so if you're pushing people to major events, that's going to do an amazing job for you of leadership development. So, so you're looking for more leaders always, 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 and then you're digging in to find the leaders. Okay, so that is, without knowing your exact situation, that is a rough answer for you. How do you start teaching personal development to your kids? I love that question. So a couple things. One is, like, we have, I do lessons from daddy on the way to school. So it's little things that they can absorb, like what's better, profits or wages? My kids will tell you profits. Why? And I just quiz them on it. Why? Well, because profits are unlimited. Wages, there's a certain amount. So I'm teaching little things like that. And I'm teaching the Morris family values. And so they have the Morris family values memorized. So they know number 1, number 2, number 3, all the way to 10. And then we talk about those and, what it means. So I talk about confidence. What does it mean to be confident? It means you believe in yourself. And so they're just starting to understand the idea and the concept, because they're young. My kids right now are getting older now. So 7, 9, and 11. And so it's introducing that to them. It's having them obviously read. There was a bunch of different books. I can't remember the name, but we read personal development books to our kids. So Wayne Dyer has some really, really good books for kids, and it's reading those, and it's just introducing. I think it's a conversation and having them listen to personal development while you're listening to personal development. I remember my brother, I got the idea with my brother, and he was, gosh, I don't know, 11, 12 years old. And when we were in the car together, I would listen to personal development CDs, and it was amazing how he caught on. And he could repeat the information back to me. And so I think it's exposure and introducing what is appropriate for them. So Atlas what? It is Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand. I won't have a job, please help. I don't understand that question. Let's see. How many liters, let me highlight this. How many liters is it feasible and efficient to have conversation in a very close and often way? It really depends. You know, in the beginning, when your organization is small, you can have a lot of conversations. As your organization gets bigger, it's going to be fewer and fewer. And it's going to be largely based on ranks. Now, if you're building new organizations as a leader, you're going to be talking to people who are, you know, lower ranking levels, people who are, you know, brand new. If you're starting a new group, you're talking to everyone. As the group starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger, then you have to honor your time and you start talking only to the producers. And so that might be the people who are they went out and they personally sponsored 2 or 3 people. And you're working with them and you're working with them. And then as your group gets bigger and bigger and bigger, then you're working with a different level of leader and a higher level of leader. When your group is getting to the point where it's, you know, 100,000 or thousands and thousands and thousands of people, it is impossible. It's just impossible to talk to everyone. So you're talking with certain levels of leader. Typically you want to have, I mean, my goal is always 3 to 6 leaders that I'm getting to my level. So who are the 3 to 6 leaders that you're getting to your level? Because if you look at the 5 levels of leadership, and I'm going to put this all in a book here one day soon, probably by the end of the year, I'll get my book done on this. I've got the content. I just have to put it in writing. I've recorded most of it on audio and video. So if you want to go from one level of leadership to the next, it's often to help 3 to 6 people get to where you're at. And that pushes you to the next level of leadership. So hopefully that answers your question. Let's see, what else? Do you still work from a name list, or when starting a new team, how do you start? Great question. So yes, absolutely. Whenever you're getting into build mode, whether you're brand new, whether you're making $1 million a year, the basics apply. The reason why leaders teach the basics so much is because the basics work, okay? And so I know for me, when I get into recruit mode, if I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go and get super aggressive on hitting the next rank, I'm creating a list. And I've got a running list. So basically just everyone that I'm prospecting and everyone that I'm following up with, I have them on a list, because if I don't have them on the list, then I forget about them. So the list, I believe, is crucial. All right, Delano, appreciate that question. How do I start my network marketing career? So I think that's what that is. How do you start your network marketing career? You start, you do the work, you get the education, you read books on network marketing, you study mindset, you study belief. What you learn in the beginning is more important than what you earn in the beginning, and it is doing the action. It's doing the work. The biggest challenge in our profession is overcomplicating the profession. Is it possible? Let me see this. Is it possible to build from online cold market? What's the technique to doing so fast? Is it possible? Yes. Here's what you have to know about the cold market. I have done both in a very, very big way. Okay. Obviously, in the beginning, you're talking to the people you know. Eventually, you've gone through most of the people that you know, and you want to get into cold market. So when you're out and about, you're prospecting people. When you're online, you're prospecting people. In fact, I'm creating a training for those of you who want to, hold on. I am creating a training called Social Domination. If you want to get on the list, I'll be rolling that out soon. mattmorris.com/VIP list. And I will notify you when that is ready. It is not ready, but I have been able to recruit several hundred people on social media over the years. And so I'm kind of pulling back the curtains to show my strategies there and what I've been able to do. Okay, let me put your question back up. So the technique to doing so fast. Now, here's what you need to know about the cold market. It's always going to be a lower enrollment ratio because there's no trust. What you want to get good at is being able to quickly build rapport. How do you get people to know, like, and trust you? And so a lot of different strategies for that. Too long to talk about on this. It's one of the things that I'll be talking about in my upcoming training, but it is figuring out how to turn strangers into family or strangers into friends. And how do you do that? Well, you like people. Focus on getting really good at liking people. So if I'm out and about and I'm meeting people, if I want to recruit someone, I'm going to figure out a way to like them. And what happens is when I genuinely like someone else, they end up liking me. So I build that know, like, and trust factor. And then I present my opportunity and I'm going to have a higher enrollment ratio. So realize that it's going to be slower in the cold market. And the way I see it, the reason to go into the cold market is to get into their warm market. There's not a company in network marketing that I've ever seen that has created massive momentum in a cold market scenario. If you look at all the companies that have created any kind of sustainable momentum, it's been done from a friend telling a friend. I mean, if you could do online advertising and recruit, companies wouldn't need us. They could just do it themselves. Okay. And so what makes things go viral, what creates momentum is a product or service that is good, that is being referred from someone that they trust. That's the speed of network marketing. And so the huge success that I've had when it comes to recruiting in the cold market has not been personally enrolling 1,000 people. It's enrolling enough to find someone who's willing to go crazy and work in their cold market, in their warm market. And so the reason why you go into the cold market is to get into someone else's warm market. There's a myth out there, and this is mainly from social media trainers who haven't really built big, telling you that you can create huge momentum only in the cold market. No one ever has to talk to their friends or family. It's a stupid message. You can, if you get really good, you could go personally enroll a lot of people. You're just not going to see a lot of duplication. I've been doing this for 25 years. I built one of the first internet marketing systems. I've probably done more internet network marketing than almost anyone in the world in our profession. I mean, I had 35,000 customers on my marketing system, tens of thousands of people in my downline recruited through internet marketing. And it's one of those where if you throw enough mud up against the wall, most of it just falls away and very little sticks. So you want to have a system to have real duplication, and real duplication happens through the trust factor. And that happens through people that you know. So I appreciate that question. Thank you so much. We got time for another one or two. Let's see. My comments are going haywire here. Hold on. All right, awesome question. What's the very first thing that you have a new recruit do immediately after they sign up? Steve, appreciate that question. The biggest thing that you want to do is, very quickly, it's identifying why they're doing this. So if you can identify their why and help them bring out their why, they're more likely to take consistent action, because action follows feelings. And if you can create even greater of a feeling of motivation and of certainty, then you get them going. Here's what my mentor taught me years ago is sell them, get them sold, get them selling. Sell them, get them sold, get them selling. How do you get them? So sell them is getting them in, right? So that's only half the battle. Enrolling someone in your network marketing company does you very little good. You earn maybe a one-time commission, and that's it. But you really don't have anyone until they've enrolled someone. And so selling them is only a third of the battle. Number two is getting them sold. How do you get them sold? Well, increasing their belief, increasing their desire, increasing their motivation. So, Steve, if I enrolled if I had personally enrolled you as an example, I would say, listen, man, tell me why you did this. Like, what's the real reason why you decided to lock arms with me? What do you want to get out of this? And I'm going to dig. He's like, oh, I want to make more money. I want to get out of debt. Well, why do you want to get out of debt? For this. I go, why do you want that? Why do you want that? Why do you want that? I want to dig until I get something that's meaningful, something that burns inside his gut. Like, and here's a question that I've asked a bunch of times is, Steve, tell me this. If you just like going to try this out, it's probably not going to work. Why must you crush it here? Why must you achieve success here? What's that reason that burns in your gut? What's that thing that keeps you awake at night? And he's going to say, awesome, it's this, right? It's that I'm tired of trading my life away for a job and missing my little girl growing up. There, I got something that's meaningful. I said, all right, Steve, listen, if that's your goal, that's my goal. And you'll quit on you before I'll quit on you. You'll give up on that goal before I'll give up on that goal. Cool? Awesome. So I've sold him. Now I've got him sold. Now I got to get him selling. So Steve, are you willing to be coachable in order to make that goal a reality? Yes. Are you sure? Yes. Cool. Who can we call right now that you can show this to? Who's your best friend? If you got stranded on the side of the road, you had 3 flat tires, you need someone to come, pick you up in the middle of the night. Who's that person you'd call? Let's go show them right now. Get them on the phone right now. Get them on Zoom right now. Steve, my goal with you would be to get you in action. So I'm going to sell you. I'll get you in. I want to get you sold. I want to increase your belief. And then I want to get you selling. So sell them, get them sold, get them selling. I hope that helped you. Thanks for the question. I appreciate it. Let's see if we got time for another one. How to work with people who don't follow the system. 2 things. I typically, if someone's not coachable, I'm not going to coach them. Okay. I get to choose who I work with. And so if they're not coachable, I don't really coach them. Now, I have had situations where people are not coachable and I'll still work with them. Here's the exception is if they're putting people in front of me and maybe they're doing something wrong, but they're putting quality people in front of me as prospects or enrolling people, maybe they're screwing things up. And I'll coach them on that. And even if they continue screwing it up, if they're bringing people to me that I can reach down, build a relationship with, then I'm okay with you screwing it up a little bit. Okay, but I don't overthink it. I'm not going to spend a lot of time trying to coach someone who's uncoachable. Think about that. Someone's uncoachable. Why would you spend any time coaching them? I'm going to go work with someone else who is coachable. The exception, and this is not even coaching them, it's like if you're putting people in, I'm not going to say don't put people in. You screw it up a little bit, I'm going to reach down and I'll fix it, and I'll just let them know, the new person, that maybe they did something wrong, but they're bringing people to me. I'm going to tell the new person, I'm going to coach that new person and get them doing it the right way. See, I had a guy in my team years ago, and he was very uncoachable. I mean, he was kind of like a hype artist. He's like calling people, and we would say, hey, you need to be duplicatable and you need to show a presentation before you enroll someone. He just got him on the phone, and he was so full of excitement, he'd just get people to sign up. And then he'd put them on the phone with me. Well, I'm not going to say, hey, I'm not going to talk to your new people because what you did is not duplicatable. But then when I talk to the new person, I'm going to coach the new person, and I'm going to say, hey, here's how our system works. And out of that one guy, I created a huge organization. Now, he wasn't able to create duplication himself because he was not coachable, and what he was doing wasn't duplicatable, but he was bringing people into the organization that I could reach down and fix, basically, and ended up creating a good amount of success from there. So, Peter, I hope that answered your question. Let's see, what else? We got time for one more. Let me see. Hopefully I didn't miss any questions here. All right, let me answer this one. We're getting a lot of the same kind of feeling of question today. To what extent do I keep helping my downline to build their business, but they don't want to learn more about the business? They are 100% dependent on me. That's a great question. In fact, I had another situation. His name was, well, I'll change the name to protect the guilty. Let's call him Bob. So Bob was dependent on me in that he would not present on his own. He always wanted me to present. But he was a prospecting machine. So this guy would like cold form anyone and get them open to looking, but then he didn't want to show them. He wanted to bring them to me or put them on the phone with me. And I was like, man, I feel like he's totally dependent. He's using me as a crutch, but he's putting all these quality people in front of me and we're making sales. And I found some leaders in his group. And I was like, I'm going to make myself a little less available because, you know, he's just totally dependent on me and I don't want to, facilitate that. And so I kind of cut him off a little bit. And what happened was he stopped bringing anyone around. He just went silent for weeks. And this happened for, 3-4 weeks. And finally I was like, man, this guy was bringing me quality people. I was like, hey man, who do you know that we can talk to? I call him one day and he starts bringing me people again. So even though he was dependent on me, I would allow him to be somewhat dependent just because he was bringing such quality people to me that I could then dig in and find some leaders. And I ended up building both, it was a binary compensation, both of his legs basically. And some people are like, well, man, you're the one who created the leadership in both of his legs. Doesn't it upset you that, he's making all this money off your efforts? No, not really, because he's the one who brought me. So I'm happy, more than happy for him to make money because I'm making too. I've got an abundance mentality, not a scarcity mentality. Some people are like, they want to cut off their nose to spite their face. They want to hurt their downline when it costs them money. I just believe I'm cool if you make money because you brought them. Now, what extent do you help your downline when they don't want to learn about the business? I mean, I am much more of the philosophy that I'm going to go find eagles. I mean, if I spend all my time trying to motivate someone who doesn't want to be motivated, I will go broke. Listen, you will go broke trying to motivate an unmotivated team. What is the best way to motivate an unmotivated team? Go start a new team. Not only does it make you more money, but if there's any chance of motivating a dead team that's not doing anything, it's showing them that it's possible, not doing it for them. Last thing I'll say on this, and it's just a rule of leadership, is don't do for people what they're capable of doing for themselves. In many cases, I'm kicking people out of the nest because that's what my mentor did with me. I could do presentations for people all the time, forever, but they'll never step into their leadership. I could do trainings for my leaders all the time, but if I do that, they'll never step up and be an amazing trainer themselves. And so I don't want to make my team dependent on me. I want to be insignificant to the growth of my organization. Now, to do that in the beginning, you are going to have to be significant for your team, but only long enough to identify leaders who will do it and have the capability of doing it with or without you. So I know that that question kind of, in a way, it was like enabling someone by doing presentations, but also kicking them out of the nest. And so I understand it's kind of both sides, but listen, there's very few hard and fast rules in network marketing. There's an art and science to doing this. And it's easy enough to teach the science. Here's the scripts. Here's what you say to get a new person started. Here's how you sell them, get them sold, get them selling. There's a lot of science, but there's a lot of art. And the art comes from doing it over and over and over and over until you understand the art. And art is one of those things that is hard to be taught. I can teach you a lot of theory, but actually being able to put the brush strokes on the canvas, that's something you got to do yourself, and you got to do it a lot before you get good. There's very few naturals in the business. Last question I'm going to answer here. How do you stay consistent, and what do you do when your contact list is done? So how do you stay consistent? Today was a great example. I really wasn't super motivated to do Free Mentoring Monday today. I was like, I did a bunch of other stuff. I've, did some writing this morning, and I'm like, I can take a day off. And I don't do lives every day, but, I'm pretty consistent with it, right? And so here's the thing. It's like I just had to do it because I want to be proud of myself. I don't want, because I know if I didn't do it, if I don't stay consistent, I can get away with that. But how does it really feel? And here's the thing. I can look to other people as inspiration. I can look for other people to be a hero. But when I really stepped into my power was when I decided to be my own hero. And so how do I stay consistent? It's deciding to be my own hero. It's deciding to be my own inspiration. And it wouldn't have affected my income if I didn't do a live today. It wouldn't have really mattered. But I'm way more inspired in myself now that I've actually done this, because I've gone out and I've done what my mission is. And I'm very clear why God put me on this earth is to help network marketers and help entrepreneurs become powerful leaders and influencers. And doing this live today helps me accomplish that mission. And so if you want to help yourself be consistent, find your own mission. And when I say find, I don't mean like go out and search for it. God, tell me my mission. God, tell me my mission. God, tell me my mission. I did that for a lot of years. How do you find your mission? Is you decide. You invent it yourself. Now, did God speak down, Matt, your purpose in life, the reason why I put you here is to help network marketers and entrepreneurs become powerful leaders and influencers? God never told me that. But I know that's why he put me on this earth. Why? Because I decided it. Just what I made up. Okay? So you have the power. I'm going to give you permission. You don't need my permission, but I give you my permission to make up a really powerful mission and a purpose in life that will keep you consistent. So it's just a matter of doing it. And here's one other thing. When you do it enough times where it becomes a habit, you don't have to discipline yourself to do it anymore. Like every morning I write every single morning. And I've done it for like 150 days, 151 days in a row, something like that. And in the beginning, it was really hard. But there's a thing called cosmic habit force. It's when you do something enough times, it becomes a habit that you almost have to do. You don't feel right if you don't do it. Typically, I do it in the mornings. And there was one day the other day, I didn't do it in the morning. I did it after lunchtime, and my day was off. I felt awkward. It was like I felt incomplete. And so I couldn't wait to get home and write. Why? Because even though it was hard in the beginning, I had to discipline myself to do it long enough for it to become a habit. When it becomes a habit, it becomes part of you. Okay? So you don't have to discipline yourself to go to the bathroom. You just go to the bathroom because it's part of you. You don't discipline yourself to eat. It's part of you. Praying, many pray every single day, and you feel awkward if you don't pray. So you may have to discipline yourself for a while, but do it long enough until it becomes a habit. What do you do when your contact list is done? You start reaching out to others. It's putting out content on social media, being very consistent, meeting people. I would recommend hopping on my YouTube channel and just type in cold market and go to Matt Morris or youtube.com/Matt Morris Adventure. And then on my channel, type in cold market prospecting and you'll get some answers there. So my friends, I appreciate you tuning in. It's a little after 2, so I have got to jet. Thanks so much. Listen, if you are not subscribed over at mattmorris.com, hop over there, put your name and email address in. You'll get my daily coaching by email. Thanks so much.